Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiancé. Did Natalie Mordovtseva get deported? Shocking divorce status, with Mike Youngquist revealed. Rumors of 90-Day Fiancé star Natalie Mordovtseva getting deported are all over the internet amid her franchise comeback with 90-Day, the last resort. Natalie is from Kyiv, Ukraine, where she lived with her mother before meeting Mike Youngquist. Natalie was introduced to Mike through their mutual friends when they made the couple their daughter's godparents. Mike thought Natalie was out of his league, since she was a model and actress back home. Meanwhile, Natalie looked forward to living in Las Vegas, where Mike worked when they started talking. Unfortunately for Natalie, Mike bought his family's Christmas tree farm in Washington and moved there before filming 90-Day Fiancé Season 7. It also put him in debt and gave Mike an excuse to deny Natalie's request to give her a baby. Nothing was going her way, but once Natalie's K-1 visa was approved, she did come to the U.S. fast forward. 5 years later, Natalie and Mike are no longer together, and she's struggling to make her relationship with boyfriend Josh Weinstein work by resorting to couples therapy. Is it time for Natalie to go back to Ukraine? In January 2020, Soap Dirt confirmed the news of Natalie's arrival at the airport in Seattle, Washington. Natalie and Mike were spotted at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Mike waited for her with flowers in his hand and surrounded by the 90-Day Fiancé film crew. Frauded Media on Instagram posted pictures that showed Mike near the baggage claim area. Natalie had officially made it to the U.S. The scenes that were being filmed were going to be used in 90-Day Fiancé Season 8. Mike and Natalie didn't seem to get along at all on 90-Day Fiancé Season 8. He was still angry at her for throwing the ring away and for accusing him of sleeping with his best friend on her wedding. However, Mike was doing what a dutiful husband would do for his wife who just moved to his country. Frauded Media posted a picture of Natalie and Mike walking hand in Pike Place, Seattle. This also confirmed that Natalie had made it to the U.S. Natalie learned that Mike wasn't in love with her after she insisted they go for couples therapy. Mike and Natalie were still going to get married, but Mike got cold feet and called off the wedding. Natalie would have had to leave for Ukraine imminently since her K-1 visa validity was over in 2 days. It was also the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and Natalie was feeling helpless. She didn't want to be with a man who didn't love her. Fortunately for Natalie, Mike had a change of heart. Mike got over the cold feet scenario quickly and decided to marry Natalie on April 15, 2020. Just a few hours were left for Natalie's visa to expire. However, she became Mrs. Mike Youngquist, whose happiness was short-lived. Natalie and Mike lived happily together in Sequim, Washington. Natalie started thinking of life in the big city. She had dreams of a TV and modeling career, and it wasn't going to happen in the woods for Natalie. Natalie decided to leave Mike 6 months into their wedding. Natalie chose her own happiness over Mike's and went to Florida to try her luck. Natalie was also bothered by Mike's mother, Trish Youngquist's involvement in their marriage. A major argument took place when Natalie and Mike visited Trish in Oklahoma, and Natalie was certain that Trish called her a *** care. Trish insisted she never did, but also lashed out at Natalie for being mean to Michael and manipulating him. Natalie briefly lived with a friend named Julia, which had upset Mike. She lived with her before the Florida move. Natalie's Florida stay was brief. She met Josh at a modeling workshop there, and it didn't take long to decide she wanted to move to California for him. It didn't look like Josh was happy with Natalie's decision to move. After all, he'd not taken Natalie to see his house, even though they'd been together for almost 3 years now. Natalie also managed to get her mother to move to the U.S., however, she knew it was going to affect her finances. Natalie didn't have a job and was fully dependent on Josh for her apartment, car, and other financial needs. She moved to California for good on the Single Life Season 4 and continues to live there. Natalie refuses to sign divorce papers from 90-day Fiancé's Mike because she fears that it could lead to her getting deported. Natalie has ensured that her green card didn't get revoked by probably asking Mike to delay the divorce. He finally served her divorce papers on the tell-all set, but Natalie had not signed them as of July 2024, according to Shabuti. Natalie could be eyeing citizenship considering she's close to celebrating her 5th-year wedding anniversary with Mike in 2025. The world of 90-Day Fiancé never seems to slow down when it comes to drama, shocking twists, and intense relationships. One of the most controversial couples in the series' history is undoubtedly Natalie and Mike Youngquist. Their relationship has been nothing short of a roller coaster, filled with ups, downs, heartbreak, and unresolved tensions. Over time, fans have eagerly followed the couple's journey as they navigated love, culture clashes, and personal struggles. But a question has lingered for some time. Did Natalie get deported? And what's the shocking divorce status between her and Mike? The unpredictable journey of Natalie and Mike. Natalie first made her appearance on 90-Day Fiancé during Season 8. A Ukrainian beauty with a mysterious and intense persona, she quickly became a polarizing figure on the show. Mike, her American fiancé, was the epitome of a laid-back, small-town guy from Sequim, Washington, while Natalie represented a far more cosmopolitan, high-maintenance personality. Their relationship was always strained by cultural differences, misunderstandings, and Natalie's own insecurities. Despite their differences, Mike and Natalie appeared to be making it work, at least for a while. The tension was immediate when Mike traveled to Ukraine to meet Natalie, and it only intensified as the season unfolded. Their journey to the K-1 visa process and engagement was filled with doubt. Natalie accused Mike of being emotionally distant, and Mike struggled to understand Natalie's high expectations. After Natalie finally arrived in the United States, the cracks in their relationship became impossible to ignore. Communication broke down, and the constant arguments, particularly around Natalie's desire for more commitment and Mike's reluctance to get married, created a toxic atmosphere. But things became even more complicated when Natalie's visa was nearing expiration. With no marriage on the horizon and Natalie unable to secure permanent residency, fans began to speculate if she would be forced to return to Ukraine. This question eventually became a point of great uncertainty for both fans and the couple. In many ways, it was unclear if they could truly make it through the drama and continue to stay together, given the added stress of immigration issues. The divorce speculation. Rumors of a potential divorce between Natalie and Mike circulated long before it was officially confirmed. Despite appearing to make some progress toward a resolution on 90-Day Fiancé. Happily ever after, the couple faced multiple setbacks. Fans who followed their story on social media noticed that Mike and Natalie weren't posting photos together as often as they used to, fueling speculation that they might have separated. The writing seemed to be on the wall. By the end of their time on the show, the couple's relationship had reached a breaking point. They argued over everything from living arrangements to long-term plans for the future. Eventually, it was revealed that Mike and Natalie had gone through a dramatic breakup, which led to them filing for divorce. What made this even more surprising was how the divorce played out after the cameras stopped rolling. Despite their deep connection at one point in time, the difference in their lifestyles and priorities became more apparent as time went on. Fans of the show were shocked when it was revealed that they had officially parted ways. This final breakup seemed to signal the end of a chapter for both of them. But as for the big question, did Natalie get deported? The situation surrounding her visa status has remained murky for some time. The K-1 visa, which allows a foreign partner to come to the U.S. and marry within 90 days, doesn't guarantee permanent residency if the couple doesn't follow through with the marriage. So when Mike and Natalie's relationship started to deteriorate, it was unclear whether Natalie would be sent back to Ukraine. The deportation drama. Many fans wondered if Natalie would be deported if the relationship fell apart. While deportation wasn't automatic, Natalie's legal situation was precarious. At one point, she even admitted in interviews that she didn't know what would happen to her if her marriage to Mike didn't work out. She made it clear that she didn't want to go back to Ukraine, as her life and dreams were now tied to the United States. But being caught in a troubled relationship without a clear path forward would undoubtedly add pressure to her already complex immigration status. As time went on, the rumors surrounding her deportation grew. Fans questioned if Natalie would face consequences for staying in the U.S. beyond the terms of her K-1 visa. Her status was often a subject of interest, but what's been confirmed is that Natalie did manage to avoid deportation, at least for now. Her status was closely tied to her legal status in the U.S., and despite the dissolution of her relationship with Mike, Natalie was still navigating the complex process of her immigration status. As of now, Natalie has reportedly found a way to remain in the U.S., even if her future in the country remains uncertain. Fans speculate that she may have sought legal advice or potentially found a way to stay longer due to an extension or an adjustment of status. But the reality is that her journey after the 90-day Fiancé cameras stopped rolling is not entirely public, and her fate is still up in the air. New beginnings. Despite the turbulent relationship with Mike, Natalie hasn't completely disappeared from the spotlight. She's continued to maintain an active presence on social media, sharing glimpses of her life. Many fans have been curious about her romantic life after Mike, and it seems that Natalie is moving on with new adventures. From her frequent travels to new social media posts, it appears that she's finding a way to thrive despite her past struggles. Interestingly, Natalie's personal journey after her divorce has sparked curiosity. Has she found love again? Is she still interested in settling down? Or is she focusing on herself? While there's no official information about a new romantic relationship, Natalie has hinted at moving forward and finding happiness outside of her tumultuous past with Mike. The final word. So where does Natalie stand now? After a highly publicized, rocky relationship with Mike, the question of whether she was deported is largely unresolved. But the reality is that Natalie appears to have navigated the immigration process in a way that keeps her in the U.S. for the time being. Whether she is fully settled in her new life is still unclear, but it's evident that she has not disappeared from the public eye. As for her relationship with Mike, the divorce marks a new chapter for both, but it's clear that Natalie is determined to continue pursuing her goals and dreams, regardless of what the future holds. For now, fans can only wait and watch to see how Natalie's story continues to unfold, both in terms of her personal life and her future on the 90-Day Fiancé franchise.